Okay, I'm back again because the other things on the page are quite interesting. The coming of the Son of Man. If then they say to you, look, he is in the desert, do not go there. Look, he is in some hiding place. Do not believe it, because the coming of the Son of Man will be like lightning striking in the east and flashing far into the west. Wherever the corpse is, that is where the vultures will be. The universal significance of this coming. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven. Then too all the peoples of the earth will beat their breasts, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet to gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. The time is coming. Take the fig tree as a parable. As soon as its twigs grow supple and its leaves come out, you know the summer is near. So with you, you see all these things. Know that he is near, right at the gates. In truth, I tell you, before this generation has passed away, all these things will have taken place. Sky and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But as for that day and hour, nobody knows it, neither the angels of heaven nor the Son, no one but the Father alone. Be on the alert, as it was in Noah's day, so it will be when the Son of Man comes. For in those days before the flood, people were eating, drinking, taking wives, taking husbands, right up to the day Noah went into the ark. And they suspected nothing till the flood came and swept them all away. This is what it will be like when the Son of Man comes. Then of two men in the fields, one is taken, one left. Of two women grinding at the mill, one is taken, one left. So stay awake, because you do not know the day when your Master is coming. You may be quite sure of this, that if the householder had known at what time of the night the burglar would come, he would have stayed awake and would not have allowed anyone to break through the wall of his house. Therefore, you too must stand ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. The parable of the conscientious steward. Who then is the wise and trustworthy servant, whom the master placed over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed that servant, if his master's arrival finds him doing exactly that. In truth, I tell you, he will put him in charge of everything he owns. But if the servant is dishonest and says to himself, my master is taking his time, and sets about beating his fellow servants and eating and drinking with drunkards, his master will come on a day he does not expect, and at an hour he does not know. the master will cut him off and send him to the same fate as the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. The parable of the 10 wedding attendants. This is chapter 25, which we read part of that with the Last Judgment, but I'm going to continue because it's all in the same pages in front of me. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 wedding attendants took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were sensible. The foolish ones, though they took their lamps, took no oil with them, whereas the sensible ones took flasks of oil as well as their lamps. The bridegroom was late, and they all grew drowsy and fell asleep. But at midnight there was a cry, "Look, look, the bridegroom, go out and meet him." Then all those wedding attendants woke up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish ones said to the sensible ones, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." But they replied, "There may not be enough for us and for you. You had better go to those who sell it and buy some for yourselves." They had gone off to buy it when the bridegroom arrived. Those who were ready went in with him to the wedding hall, and the door was closed. The other attendants arrived later. "Lord, Lord," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "In truth, I tell you, I do not know you. So stay awake, because you do not know either the day or the hour." We continue with the last section of this parable of the talents. It is like a man about to go abroad, who summoned his servants and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third one, each in proportion to his ability. Then he set out on his journey. The man who had received the 5 talents promptly went and traded with them and made 5 more. The man who had received 2 made 2 more in the same way. But the man who had received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Now a long time afterwards, the master of those servants came back and went through his accounts with them. The man who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more. "Sir," he said, "you entrusted me with 5 talents. Here are 5 more than I have made." His master said to him, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You have shown you are trustworthy in small things. I will trust you with greater. Come and join in your master's happiness." Next, the man with 2 talents came forward. "Sir," he said, "you entrusted me with 2 talents. Here are 2 more than I have made." His master said to him, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You have shown you are trustworthy in small things. I will trust you with greater. Come and join in your master's happiness." Last came forward the man who had the single talent. "Sir," said he, "I had heard you were a hard man, reaping where you had not sown and gathering where you had not scattered. So I was afraid, and I went off and hid your talent in the ground. Here it is. It was yours. You have it back." But his master answered him, "You wicked and lazy servant. So you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered? Well then, you should have deposited my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have got my money back with interest. So now, take the talent from him and give it to the man who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will be given more, and he will have more than enough, but anyone who has not will be deprived even of what he has. As for this good-for-nothing servant, throw him into the darkness outside, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. The word of the Lord. This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Well, that was a long one, but I liked all the readings actually. Okay, God bless you all. Have a very good evening. I'll do Jeremiah in a bit.